Welcome back to Crazy X Podcast. This week, Roger and I watched Season 1, Episode 6, My First Thanksgiving with Josh. As always, we'll start off with a synopsis. After Josh's confession, Rebecca is eager to spend more time with him. Paula orchestrates a meeting with Mrs. Chan at the grocery store and gets Rebecca invited to the Chan Thanksgiving. Despite charming his family, Rebecca's plan backfires when Valencia and Josh's argument turns into some afternoon delight and an announcement that they're moving in together, while Rebecca struggles with diarrhea. Meanwhile, Greg quits... Jesus Christ, Roger!
I'm trying to contain myself! Afternoon delight's one of the best euphemisms I've ever heard in my entire life.
Okay.
Keep going.
Meanwhile, Greg quits his job to go to business school, but when his dad needs expensive medical care, he stays to take care of him. Following their disastrous Thanksgivings, Rebecca and Greg bond over tequila, tacos, and hot butts. Roger, what do you think of this episode?
A lot of good. A lot of funny. A lot of dumb.
Dumb, okay.
Dumb. And I'll explain why later, but there's a lot of dumb in this. I thought it was an enjoyable episode. It isn't the game changer that I think I was hyped up to believe that it was, as far as like one of our friends did say, like, this was the episode that it made sense to me. It's like, I don't know about all that. But I think it's a good episode. Like, I certainly don't have many complaints. As far as, the structure of the episode. I
really like this episode. I think it's very funny. I agree. I wrote down so many lines that are hilarious that I, can't even count them. I also think there are a couple things in this episode that are, devastatingly sad.
Yes.
Which feels appropriate for a Thanksgiving episode in a dramedy, to be honest.
Is the Thanksgiving episode usually a sadder episode?
No. This show is a drama comedy. So, Thanksgiving, dealing with family, Christmas.
Yeah.
In a sitcom, a Thanksgiving episode is usually kind of a farcical.
Yeah, I always thought it was more hilarious.
But if you're talking about a drama, dealing with family kind of stuff can be hard.
I see what you're saying.
I didn't take notes in what I liked. I tried to do that, and I was like, I don't think this is going to work. I don't think this is going to work here.
No, you tried. And I respect you for it.
I think I will continue to do it for our other podcast, which is called Twice Upon a Time, about Once Upon a Time, if any listeners would like to watch that. Or I guess you don't watch a podcast, you listen to it.
Good if we were on YouTube.
That's true. Do you want to do video as well, Roger?
I don't want to do video on work, and I certainly don't want to do it on my leisure time, so pass. Maybe we could go up to the set, in Canada, then maybe do a video one. I'd do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where would you like to start?
Well, I feel like we should start at let's go chronologically, so let's start at the boba place.
I call it the Boba Hut.
I like Boba Hut. Yeah.
And every time I write it, I spell it like Jabba the Hutt with two T's.
So B-O-B-B-A?
Boba, like Boba Fett. Hut.
I went more Pizza Hut, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Rebecca is a Yale graduate, Harvard Law, correct? Or is it the other way?
I think it's that way, yeah.
This woman is smart. And yet, she is obsessed with the word very.
I wrote, Rebecca rationalizing with the boba people about the word very.
I just think that, Rebecca's smarter than this, and yet I'm being led on to believe that this very intelligent woman can't figure out that Josh, who's not exactly what we would call a wordsmith, might use the word very frequently.
I love how they just played into it 1,000%. Josh shows up and says very in every sentence.
Oh,
and then she
said,
to
I don't know that I've ever heard that used before. Also, I'm going to be honest, English was always my worst subject. Could not tell you the definition of adverb if you put a gun to my head.
It's a word that modifies a verb. It's like an adjective, but it's for verbs instead of nouns.
Okay.
Very is a bad adverb.
Because it's too vague?
Yeah, it's not descriptive at all.
Well, learn something new.
So that scene was hilarious.
Also, wait, before we go.
Yeah.
So, what we heard Josh say was not in Rebecca's head, right? That was real at the end of the last episode. I am very attracted to you.
He really said that.
So, here are things that I do to girls that I'm very attracted to. Not run up behind them and grab them like I'm meeting an old pal.
Yeah.
That is like the definition of a mixed signal here. Because that's like I would run up and greet you like that because we're friends.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't run up and grab my wife like that while we were like first dating because that's weird.
I also wouldn't think it was that weird if you ran up behind me and like kind of like grabbed my shoulder area. He grabs like very low down
and picks her up.
Yeah,
like it's a scoop. Like but it's like funny.
It's like it's booty in the wang wang.
Well, to be fair, if we take out the sexual nature, the way you are supposed to grab someone is right underneath the butt.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
when you're grabbing them from the front underneath the vagina? Because he was behind her, so he couldn't grab her butt.
You should be grabbing the waist.
Great.
Or you probably should just not be grabbing her because you're a woman in public.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then we transition to White Feather.
No white feather in this episode.
No white feather in this episode. But a lovely conversation with Paula.
Yeah.
In which my favorite part was Rebecca just sort of casually says that she ate her own twin in the womb. Paula doesn't respond right away and then realizes what Rebecca says. It says, you ate your own twin? Well, medically I didn't eat it. I just metabolized its body parts for my own use.
So that is a bit of a nod towards X-Men because Professor Xavier killed his twin in the womb.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay. There is also I think like maybe one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in a movie in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where some Greek aunt describes a twin that she ate in her womb.
Oh gosh.
It's really, really funny.
I obviously, of course, have not seen that, but that's funny.
Yeah, I think that you would really like the like weird family dynamics part of the movie, but not so much the like romantic comedy part of the movie.
It's the rom-com part that I think would be
and then we go to home base.
Home base was amazing.
Chris is so fucking funny.
Is Chris the kid?
Yes.
Oh, that's his name. I literally just had him down as kid.
I also love that, like, he's clearly not there to play baseball. No. He is there to hang out with Greg. He hangs out with Greg at a bar, and they let him sit at the bar.
So it kind of makes sense in that, like, Greg seems to be a man who is lost and lonely.
Yeah.
And this kid is obviously at a baseball bar, but obviously doesn't like sports. Yeah. So they kind of vibe on the same wavelength.
Well, and, like, Greg is... I would agree that, like, Greg has some emotional stunting, maybe, but he's a very intelligent person.
I don't know if I would call him stunted, but I would say that there's, like, something... He's got, like, a roadblock.
Well, and actually, one thing I really like about this episode is that we get a lot more information about Greg. Uh-huh. Because until this episode, you kind of get a sense from Greg, which isn't that different from Josh, like, oh, he has kind of a dead-end job and, like, he lives with his dad. And then, like, you realize that it's, like, that's not the situation.
Yeah, like, it's not what maybe you thought it was, like, he's just a loser who didn't move out. He's, like, he's actually sacrificing to take care of his father. So it's like, oh, okay, you learn something about him. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, Josh does seem like he's just floating by in life.
Yeah.
Like, Greg has plans.
Well, now Josh works at Aloha Tech.
Yep. Listen.
He's assistant manager at Aloha Tech, Roger.
When I was 19, I was so excited to work at GameStop. I fucking loved it. It was great. And then I worked there, and then I was like, oh, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Josh is what age? They're in their mid-20s?
I think they're like 26.
Yeah.
I would say, because Rebecca says that they went to camp like 10 years ago, and I think they were like 16.
Teenagers. Yeah, so 26. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's possible that Greg is like slightly older or slightly younger, because I think like all of Josh's friends are friends that he went to high school with, so they might not all be exactly the same age.
Sure. But I mean, they're around the mid-20s. Probably time to stop floating around at Best Buy.
Yeah. But yeah, Chris, back to Chris. He's so funny.
He's great.
Greg says that thing about sharing prosciutto and mozzarella with his dad, just like the first Thanksgiving. And Chris says, wait, really? They both look at him and he's like, well, I go to public school. And Greg's just like, yeah, definitely.
Seems mean that we're just openly mocking public school, but also...
Well, it's like extra funny because like the added layer of Yes, clearly there was a first Thanksgiving where the Indians and the Pilgrims sat down together. The Indians? That's definitely what they taught us to say in school.
I know, it just sounds so ridiculous. They're like, bitch, you're not in India!
Well, Christopher Columbus discovered us there.
To explain that joke to our listeners, anytime we talk about someone stealing something, we simply now just say we discovered it. Mm-hmm. AKA, like, I walked into your house and discovered $5. It's mine now.
Yep, I discovered it.
I mean, listen, it works.
I think this happens later, but I organized my things by location for some reason, because that made sense to me.
Nothing wrong with that.
So Greg quits his job at home base.
But he had, like, a whole process. Well, there was a lead up to this.
He told Rebecca he was going to quit and reference, like, going all Norma Ray. Not Norma Ray.
No, he said
yeah,
Norma
that's
Ray.
right.
Quick question on that.
Who is Norma Ray?
Yes. Labor union?
Yeah, definitely a labor thing. Sally Field played her in a movie that she won an Oscar for, and then she gave that famous speech where she says, like, they like me, they really like me.
That's where that's from?
Yeah.
Norma Ray gave that speech or Sally Field?
Sally Field gave that speech at the Oscars. I have not seen Norma Ray.
Gotcha.
But I know that it is something about, like, labor
And
stuff.
she was a real person?
Yeah, okay. I think so.
Huh, well, learned something new again. Okay,
I should probably watch that movie.
I'm surprised you haven't watched it. It seems right up your alley.
I loved this scene so much because Greg is just so like, this is the worst place to work. Every day I work in this bar, I feel like I'm eating a sandwich of bile and tears. And his boss is so fucking nice and supportive. He's like, oh, are you finally going to go to business school? Good for you.
He almost sounded like father who was like, oh, it's about time you grew up. Like, damn.
Well, then Greg makes it really personal, and he's like, you have terrible breath. And the boss is like, thank you for the feedback. And then he fixes it later.
You know, maybe we should normalize just giving honest feedback. I've been trying to normalize this for 40 years, and I'm the only one pushing this movement. I need help, guys.
Yeah, I would love to see you respond like Greg's boss, whose name I can't remember or didn't write down. He has, I think they said his name.
They did. Oh, no.
Kevin? Is his name Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin, I think is right. I want to be Greg, not Greg's boss. That's silly.
Understood.
Yeah. Come on now.
Okay. And then the grocery store.
That was Rumpelstiltskin.
Yep.
Like, there's no other way to describe that. She had an elaborate plan that she executed to perfection, and it worked picture perfectly.
And, like, the degree, I don't understand how she got there at the same time. Like, I could understand that she figures out where Mrs. Chan might be shopping, and that she might be shopping on this day because it's, like, the day before Thanksgiving.
I assume if anyone is shopping the day before Thanksgiving, you are going to have to be there a long-ass time.
So they just waited all day.
No, they just basically figured that, like, what is the time in which most likely someone is going to have to pick some last-minute thing up from Thanksgiving, because if you're hosting 1 million people, you're going to need something. And what store is going to be able to do it quickly?
I don't know. I think that Paula doesn't...
Or she stalked her.
Paula doesn't take chances like that.
She does allude to, like, I can't tell you how I acquired this information.
Yeah.
So it's also possible that she literally just figured it out. And through some illicit methods.
I also love that through all of this, Paula forgot to come up with like a real backstory for Rebecca and started telling Batman's backstory. And Mrs. Chan just was like Batman?
I love that she actually, so I was like typing notes and then I looked up and heard her say in Gotham and I was like, I thought it was a musical starting. Because it was so ridiculous. I was like, oh, there's another song. And I was like, oh, this is a real conversation. Why are they talking about Batman?
Yeah, they're talking about Batman.
We also kind of learned something about Paula that, like, Paula's obsession may be deeper than I realized. Mm-hmm. And it's not, unfortunately, as altruistic as I wanted it to be.
Oh.
Well, I thought Paula simply wanted to help Rebecca be happy.
No. Paula... I mean, I think that, like, they have some... I think Paula has kind of a weird, like... mother-daughter, sure, like, feeling around Rebecca a little bit. And I think, like, I don't think that she doesn't want... Like, she wants Rebecca to be happy. I'm not, like, trying to say that she doesn't. But she very specifically wants Rebecca to be happy with Josh.
I don't actually know that she cares if she's happy with Josh wants to.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is the difference.
And I also think, like, a large part of it is that it's entertainment. Like, Paula previously described that her life is very boring, and we see that at her Thanksgiving. And, she's, like, deeply invested in this situation.
Yeah, I think that's, like, almost the disappointing part, is that you realize, like, Paula's in it specifically just to win. This is not about, like, because any good friend would be like, Josh is not right for you.
Yeah.
Like, truthfully, other than the physical attraction, I feel like every time Josh speaks, Rebecca's face curdles a little bit. Like, when he said very 16 times, she was just like, oh.
Yeah. I think that's true.
Yeah.
Manages to get an invite to Josh's family Thanksgiving.
So that, I think, was pretty easy to do based on if you know. I mean, this is obviously playing into a heavy stereotype. Though, I will say, my mother had one rule. Do not bring home dumb. Anything else was pretty much on the table. Didn't matter what color, didn't matter, can't be dumb.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the Chans do not like dumb.
Yeah.
And we learned that Valencia is dumb as hell.
Yeah.
I knew that she was shallow. I don't think I knew that she was, like, actively stupid. We kind of learned that here.
Mm-hmm. This also was one of when they secure the invitation. This was one of the tragic moments of the episode for me.
Tragic.
Okay. Obviously, Rebecca, like, wants to get with Josh and wants to be close to Josh. But Rebecca's first reaction after receiving the invite to dinner was, I'm so excited to have Thanksgiving with a real family.
So, I think when we first started this, you kind of mockingly stated, like, your reaction is always to cut people off. And I'm like, yeah. Case in point, if you've had Thanksgiving with your mom consistently for 20-ish years, and you've never once felt like you've had family, are you sure you should still be having Thanksgiving or even contact with this woman? Like, your mom doesn't make you feel like you're around family?
Yeah.
That's, like, am I really wrong to say cut this person out of your life? To be quite honest?
Although then it is interesting. I mean, it might be because she's wallowing in self-pity, but at the end, she does the thing that she does with her mom. She watches the dog show.
Sure, but she does it with somebody she actually enjoys the company.
Yes.
Because it doesn't really matter what you do, it's matter who you do it with.
That's fair. Okay. Paula gives Rebecca a pin that has a camera in it to wear to the Chan's house.
Yeah, this got weird.
Yeah.
So, why? Why? So, obviously, like you said, entertainment. This is purely now about her own personal entertainment. But that's like a massive violation of privacy there. For all of the people who did not agree to be recorded. Like, that's... And you're a lawyer? I know you know better. And she's not actually, like, coaching her either, is she?
No, I mean, she does, like, call her at one point. Yeah. And I feel like that would have made more sense if Rebecca was like, I might need help.
Yeah. Like, okay, I'll coach you through the situation, but, like, it seems like she's just, like, watching it at the dinner table. Thanksgiving was amazing.
Oh my god, I know. Like, both of her sons are on devices, and at one point her oldest son just falls asleep at the table.
Yeah, he looks completely out.
Her husband is, like, completely oblivious. He thinks that she's watching a soap opera, which doesn't really seem like a thing that Paula would do.
I don't know. I mean, she kind of is watching a soap opera.
That's true. A live soap opera. And then there's some other people that I have no idea who they are. And then the racist uncle who she just straight up says no one likes you because you're racist.
Remember my point 5 minutes ago about, like, cut people off? Mm-hmm. Maybe cut your racist uncle off. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah. So that was where things got a little weird. Then, look, the song was fine. The explicit version is way better. Like, I thought the song was actually okay until we watched the explicit version. I was like, that's fucking hysterical. Like, it jumped from, like, a C to an A-. It's ridiculous. I love Mrs. Chan in that.
Oh my god, she's so great.
Fantastic. But, like, I don't think you get the full breadth of it until you get the explicit version and just like, oh, this is out there. Like, it's just outrageous.
Also, the like, pointy bra. I think that might be why you were thinking of Madonna, because the bra is, like, pointy.
Yeah.
But it's turkeys.
Well, so Nicki Minaj apparently did like a Madonna homage, and this is copying Nicki
With
Minaj.
turkeys?
No.
Okay.
Bras, and then
Gotcha.
the turkeys are first.
Understood.
Who doesn't dance around it? That's like where the wig came from, apparently, too, because like the wig looked weird as shit to me.
Yeah, it did. And then Rebecca is unsurprisingly really good with parents. She is on paper a parent's dream.
Yep.
And his parents like really like her, as do the rest of her family, and they also, as we learn, hate Valencia.
Which again, I don't necessarily blame them for disliking Valencia because like it's very clear she's like dumb and vapid.
And well, yes,
She is.
Well, I wish that. Yeah. I can't believe she brought up the thing about the journal.
I read
not
a book on journaling.
That's really just a journal.
It just has empty pages, so I guess it's just a journal. Like, how? Like, that's the thing, though. She's obviously too stupid to understand why that's so stupid to say.
Yeah. Also, the parents are not very nice. Like, I can't believe when they invite Rebecca to go to church, and Valencia's like, she's Jewish. And then she's like, I want to come. Like, I actually believe in Jesus. And Mrs. Chan says, knock yourself out. It's a public place of worship.
I mean, though, again, if you really disapprove of this woman that much, are they in the wrong?
Well, and, I mean, this happens later, but, so they end up they're moving in together now. Josh makes, like, a public announcement at the party. And
living in sin.
In sin.
I'm personally
but use
laughing
contraception.
At that. My mom has used the phrase "living in sin." Like I was cracking up, and I remember when she said that, I was like, "Mom, what decade do you think it is right now?"
Yeah.
Like, and it was like 15 years ago.
Well, whenever people say that, I want to be like, "Do you think it's okay to sin when we're not living together? Is that better?"
Well, that was not the conversation that I was going to take with my mother. I understand where you're going with that. But it was just such a Old Testament type statement. Mm-hmm. Like, you're going against the... I'm like, come on, wait, chill.
But once Valencia starts talking about, like, the realities of moving in together, Josh gets freaked out. Which is probably partially because Josh doesn't want to grow up. And also partially because he's like, oh, fuck, I made a huge mistake.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's the growing up part. I think it's the fact that, like, Valencia has already got an I hear. It's like, this isn't about what Josh wants. This is about what they want. It's about what she wants. Mm-hmm. And I think he's not realizing that, oh, shit, the rest of my life is going to be moving where she wants to go, buying what she wants to do. It's like, yeah, but, like, what did you think you're getting into here?
And then, of course, the horrible poop attack that results in some afternoon delight.
I know that's, like, I guess, a thing where, like, people are shy poopers. Is that what was happening here?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess maybe, but she doesn't seem concerned about it with Greg.
Well...
I mean, not that she's, like, pooping in front of Greg, but I can understand why she wouldn't want to poop while they're having sex.
That's exactly when I'd want to poop.
Because they wouldn't hear it?
No, because they might hear it.
Oh, and then they would stop?
Would you want to have sex while someone's pooping?
No. But it also would be really embarrassing. Like, then there would have to be, like a conversation.
False.
You just never talk about it again.
If you want to bring up that you heard me poop, you're more than welcome to, but I suspect you probably won't. Also, you didn't have to talk about, why did you hear me poop? I was in the bathroom. What were you doing?
Uh-huh.
Like, if anything, force the issue and be like, Mrs. Chan sent me to the bathroom. What were you two doing in there that you heard me poop? Because my stomach hurt. Come on, Rebecca, you're a lawyer.
I truly don't understand why she didn't poop after they left.
Like, your stomach was, like, she was getting destroyed.
She somehow drove home.
I know. No, just poop. Like, come on, Rebecca, just poop. Unless you're a shy pooper and, like, you can't, fine. But, like, just poop.
There's a line from a Future song that is so good.
Everybody poops.
I had a poop attack on Thanksgiving. I now associate toilets with heartbreak. Welcome to the hell I'm living.
Okay. I have nothing to follow that. So, yeah.
Do you have anything else on the Rebecca Josh side of the story?
the Rebecca Josh side of the story. So what was interesting is that it felt like Rebecca spent the entire time winning over Josh's parents.
And not Josh.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was kind of the tactic here.
Yes.
Like, Josh told me he thinks I'm attractive, so if I can win over his parents, especially if they hate Valencia, that will be a way to win over Josh.
And I don't think that is entirely wrong. I think she went too far. Like, you kind of need to balance and win both.
Yeah.
I liked the conversation Rebecca had with Valencia because I think they're both right and both wrong. Like, it's fascinating they took opposite approaches, and I think both of them are not going to get what they want by the approach they take. Because, yeah, anybody who's close with their family, I'm sorry, if mom and dad hate you, I mean, that's just a problem. Like, it's one thing if they're just, like, moderately okay with you, but they actively despise her.
Well, and it's just not fun. Like,
No.
Josh likes to spend time with his family,
Yes.
and if Valencia wants to spend time with them too, it would be nice if everyone liked each other.
Well, and also, like, I don't know, if you're close with your family and they have a negative opinion, at some point you're going to start to wonder, why do they hate her so much? There has to be some validity to this unless you just think your parents are stupid.
Yeah, and he clearly doesn't.
Exactly. He respects them.
And it seems like it's not just his parents. Like, I think it's, like, his siblings, too. Because, like, you know, like, maybe, like, my parents are old fuddy-duddies and they don't like this hot girl or whatever, but, like...
I mean, also, parents are smart. They can see that, like, the only thing she brings to the table is that she's hot.
Yeah, well, and she even just, like, says that to Rebecca. She's like, parents like you, but boys like me.
Men like me.
Yeah.
Well, also, that's the part of the conversation I liked is that she highlights the part that Rebecca missed. She's attracted to the parents.
Yeah.
Not really attracted, like, even the outfit she wears.
Oh, yeah, it's very for parents.
That's not attractive to a man. Like, a man, he didn't even probably look at her as a potential interest because she's dressed like a fucking, what'd you call it, Norman Rockwell painting?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not appealing to what a man is looking for. Valencia is dressed to exactly attract a man, except for you're at the family house, and parents do not want to see you dressed up like you're going to a club.
Yeah.
So it's like both of them got it wrong. You need, like, an in-between.
Yeah.
Because she's wearing, like, a Regina dress.
Yeah.
Zip up in the back, very tight. High
It
heels.
also is low on the sides, and you can see her bra.
Yeah. Again, it's to appeal to a man.
Also, I know that they live in California and it's hot, but, like, when you live in a place that's hot, you, like, get used to the fact that it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Like, put on a sweater.
California Thanksgiving is not sweater weather.
People that live in California wear sweaters.
Yeah, but you don't have to, and you're inside. Like, it's not like you're going to be freezing. It's not here.
That's true.
Yeah.
But everyone else is wearing a fucking sweater.
Well, also, remember, she's dressing to attract.
That's
not
true.
Dressing to
That's true.
be warm.
Anything else before we talk about Greg?
My last question is this. Does Valencia think that Josh can reasonably have a long-term relationship with her as long as the parents don't approve? Like, has she just not thought about that?
I
They've been
think
together
that
a while,
she just thinks that eventually she will win them over.
despite the fact that it's been X amount of years and they hate her.
Yeah. Well, because, like, they've been dating for a really long time.
And
Like,
they hate you. Like, I get maybe first impression, but we're talking, like, 10 plus years now?
yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's my
Agreed.
last note.
All right. So, Greg, we already talked about him quitting his job. And then,
Unquitting.
yeah, his dad. We learned his dad is ill.
But surprisingly upbeat.
Mm-hmm.
And
Has parrots.
reminding me of a member of your family. I don't care. I'm doing what I want. I'm going to smoke. I'm going to drink whiskey. I'm going to eat lard. Ew. Second, bro, you have emphysema.
Especially to eat it. Like, I understand that, like, you might cook with
Sure.
it.
Absolutely.
But you don't just eat it raw.
I mean, I guess maybe if his diagnosis were terminal, fuck it, man. Do what you need to do.
But also, like, eczema. Nope. Emphysema.
Eczema is just a this thing.
It's, like, it's painful.
Yeah.
You can't breathe.
Yeah. He has an oxygen
Like,
tank.
even if you're ready to just, like, call it quits, like, it's gonna be a while, and it's not gonna be fun.
Nope. All of that is correct. But I mean, look, I'm going to be a very stubborn old man when I get to that age. So I'm sure he's just like, look, my life's already shitty. I'm going to at least have some fun here.
Yeah. Well, and Greg, so Greg gives up all of his savings to...
I felt really bad for Greg.
I know. It made me really mad about healthcare, which is just a thing.
Probably not the time to be talking about that. I don't want to be put on a list, but I hear you.
And he also later tells Rebecca, like, I just can't go. Like, he's always been there for me. But he doesn't tell her that his dad is sick. Because she asked him.
Really?
Yeah, because she asked him, like, did your dad not take it well? And he says, like, yeah, it didn't go as I planned. Like, he doesn't actually say what happened.
In my brain just assumed that he had said, yeah, my dad, oh, you're right. He never says that to her.
Yeah.
So she's left to believe that, like, dad just didn't want you to move out, not my dad literally needs me.
It's like Greg is so self-deprecating that he, like, can't even be the hero when he actually was.
Yeah, like, that's like the kind of thing that a woman is like, oh, that's so sweet. I mean, maybe Rebecca wouldn't, who knows. Also, I mean, he doesn't entirely respect Rebecca.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just like, that's none of your business. I could understand that.
Yeah. I mean, he also probably in his head is trying to convince himself that he's not trying to impress her.
He's definitely trying to fool himself into believing that, like, yeah, I'm not going to try to woo this girl, even though I think everything he's doing is still screaming, I want you.
I also think I love...
But he did say, she's not right for me. He knows this.
Yeah. I love Greg's song in this episode.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I love Billy Joel, so, like, the homage is great.
Yep.
But it is that other, like, I mean, most of Greg's story is tragically sad, but am I doomed to stay here pouring my high school friends' beers for the rest of eternity? It's just
painful. Really
sad. I mean, they spice it up with some funny bits, like, hey, you sunburned MILFs, give me a shout.
But you also, like, it does seem like it'd be one thing, I think, if, like, Josh wants to be here. This is where he wants to be. He likes it. People are just chill. Greg wants to get out. He's, like, trapped in prison. So it's actually tragic.
Yeah, it's quite sad.
Yeah.
Anything else before we go to favorite moment?
Mermaids? I just love how much Mrs. Chan hates her. Like, there's not even shade, just outright contempt. This probably could go in one of my favorite ones that I put in there. The simultaneous no's at what I thought was a proposal, what Valencia thought was a proposal, but was actually just like a...
No.
Yeah. Also, I don't think people do that when they're going to move in together. It's not like will you be my roommate?
It's also, I mean, I have a thing about, like, public declarations and, like, asking someone a question that you should definitely be asking them privately in front of people. But
you understand that most women are not in that boat with you, right?
Sure.
Cool.
But yeah, have they never talked about that before?
Well, she's clearly already thought about it.
That doesn't mean that they've talked about it.
I wonder what they talk about.
Yeah, me too.
Because, be honest, like, the two of them probably have a couple of brain cells to rub together, but not that many.
Yeah.
They're actually, in weird ways, they're kind of perfect for each other. They're both dumb.
Yeah?
They're hot and dumb. Like,
yeah.
That's them. That's the thing. Yeah, no, I'm good.
I have 3 favorite moments.
Oh, I have definitely only one.
Okay.
Paula's scheme was just...
Oh, I can't believe you don't have this.
Really?
Yeah. Paula's scheme was really good. I don't have that, but... I can't believe you don't have the Chans don't like Valencia because Asians don't like dumb people.
I put that in my top lines.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. We skipped top lines. That's what messed... Yeah, we talked about public school. That line... I have 2 more lines. So technically I have 2 favorite moments that I can do. Greg, I decided we're past courtesy.
Yeah.
And then at some point he goes, that's okay. I'm used to it. She was doing something, relatively rude. He's just like so matter of fact with it. What's your next?
When they're in the grocery store and they go through the, like, Batman scenario and
she lost her parents. like Gotham.
And she's like, oh my God, you lost your parents. And then she goes, oh no, my parents aren't dead. They're just abandoning and frigid.
But is she wrong?
Nope, not at all. And then lastly, when Josh and Valencia get into the argument and she's mad that he didn't sit next to her and he gets so defensive and he says, you know I wanted to sit next to the turkey. I really like the skin. And then his mom packs him the skin later.
See, that's the thing. I feel like that's the depth of both of their thoughts.
Yeah.
You know I like the skin. Occasionally I will throw in a favorite line for something that isn't necessarily a line spoken in the show, but spoken about the show. Chelsea. Welcome back to Twice. Nope.
Yes, when I started the podcast, I started going on our other podcast and didn't know what was happening.
Also,
almost as bad as the time that I just froze when Roger asked me to start and said, hello.
Also, Afternoon Delight was a personal favorite as well. I've heard many euphemisms. I've never really heard that one. I really like that one.
Thank you.
Also, it wasn't dark. And as we both know, for being children...
You can only have sex at night.
Exactly. So how did they pull that off?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Favorite song? There are only two. No reprises either.
No. What'll be?
Okay.
Now, I put an asterisk to that because once I heard the explicit version, I also loved I Give Good Parent.
Uh-huh.
But if you're just comparing the songs in the episode, I liked What'll Be more.
That's a good one. I mean, I think they're both great.
Yeah.
I chose I Give Good Parent. Specifically, favorite line, I like almost can't read this because it's so vulgar. So prepare yourself. Gonna suck up and kiss ass till I have them eaten out of this hand like they're eating this ass.
That's the explicit version that is not said in the...
Praise the hardwood, compliment the china, give them hardwood and a drenched vagina. Help clear the table like I drain a scrotum. That's a thing that they wrote lyrics about.
Yep. Yep. I can't follow that, so...
Yep, that's fair.
Yeah.
Most ridiculous moment. I only wrote one, but I feel
Same.
like I could have written 100.
Same. I mean, what's the kid's name? Chris?
Chris, yeah.
Everything he did was ridiculous.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I have like one ridiculous moment. Concept.
Okay. What is it?
Rebecca just doesn't go to the bathroom.
That's a good one.
Like, her stomach was notably gurgling, and then she held it for quite some time because she mentions the stamina when they have sex. Holds it, still doesn't go. Runs out, has the whole conversation, sits there, gets then in her car, drives home. Just go to the bathroom, girl.
Go to the bathroom. I have that scene where Paula gives Rebecca the camera and says, is this weird? And Rebecca like thinks about it for a second and goes like, no. And Paula's like, okay, great.
But she knows it is weird.
Just like the full, I feel like these two are supreme rationalizers.
Oh, 100%. Because, like, I think when she said that, and she was kind of like, I think this is wrong, and then, like, Paula talks her out of it, but, like, she knew that doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's not good. Loser. I have two.
I have one question mark.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious what your two are.
Greg and Rebecca.
Yeah, I didn't put Greg here.
I mean, I think that, like, Greg makes a very nice gesture for his dad, but, like, Greg lost hard. He had plans for his life, and he gave up his life savings to help his dad, and now he's stuck in this town that he doesn't want to be in anymore.
Counterpoint, he did come up with a plan, potentially.
That's true, he's going to go to night school.
Which, like, really, yeah, it diverted him, but, like, also, I'm making a Chelsea argument, he did the right thing.
He did do the right thing. You're right. You
Rebecca,
have Rebecca question mark?
No. I have Valencia, actually, as a question mark.
Oh.
And I think she is the loser the more I think about it. Like, yeah, obviously she kind of gets the end of, like, moving in, but, like, it becomes abundantly clear that, like, I think before you could have rationalized it, like, well, no one's going to be good enough for, you know, their baby. Oh, no, it's just you. They do like Rebecca. And they hate you.
Huh.
Like, hands down.
No, I mean, that's a good argument. I have Valencia as a winner.
She does win that.
And
like,
she feels like she won this.
So that's the thing. I think that's why I have as a loser. She feels like she won, but I think this was a heavy loss. Like, Rebecca was better than her entirely at the impressing the parents game.
That's true.
She's also unbelievably stupid.
Yeah, she's really stupid. You don't have Rebecca?
Yeah, Rebecca was another one that, like... The weird thing about her is that, like, it doesn't feel like she lost because it feels like she's actually exactly where she was before.
Well, and in some respects, I mean, that thing that I said was really sad. Rebecca got to spend a Thanksgiving with a really nice family, and for the most part, she had a really good time.
Yeah, and then, top it off, got to hang out with a friend and still have another Thanksgiving.
She did have violent diarrhea, which sounds bad.
But that could have been much worse.
That's true. She made it to the toilet.
Like, that could have been violent diarrhea. Like, I thought where we were going was that it was going to shit her pants.
Yeah, in front of people.
In front of, like, the family where, like, they're like, oh... So she, like, saved the day. And she managed to hold her bowels a seemingly long amount of time.
That's a really long time.
Yeah. Now, she did have to hear Valencia and Josh have sex. I feel like that's the thing they have in common. They like sex. That's probably about it. Yeah. No, I didn't. I mean, I'm not one way or the other. Like, you can convince me Rebecca was a loser here. I do think Valencia's a huge loser. I mean, winners. Greg is one of my winners.
Huh.
Yeah. Because I actually think, like, did the right thing, still came up with a plan. We got to learn a lot about Greg, which was good. Also, I think the winning part is that, like, a lot of these people don't seem to want to go anywhere. He does. Like, he actually does want to do better. So even if he hasn't, like, done it yet, like, he has a plan for his life to improve. Because, you know, Josh, I think, is happy just coasting.
Yeah.
Like, he'd play ball with Father Bruh and just go kick it on the beach or go to his job. Or, like, no, Greg wants to make some of himself. Like that.
Speaking of the beach, we got 3 hours from the beach this time.
I thought it was always 4 hours.
It's they say it's usually 2, 4 in traffic.
But the people who
so
say
maybe Greg averaged for his song because he didn't have enough space in the lyrics to say.
So he just said 3. You know what? I'm okay with that.
I had a hard time with Winner. I chose Valencia for the reasons we discussed.
Sure.
I think that your argument is solid.
Yeah.
I also put Paula.
Same.
But she's so upset at the end of the episode about what happens between Greg and Rebecca.
Yeah.
But she wanted to be entertained, and she was.
Yeah, I mean, in the sense of, like, it's almost like where we talk about characters who are like, I don't agree with what she wants, but she got what she wanted. Yeah, I mean, like, unfortunately, it's clear to me that, like, Paula has her own selfish motivations and does not actually care what is good. Because I even said, like, it is so blatantly obvious that those two should be together. Greg and Rebecca vibe, Josh and Valencia vibe, the mismatch doesn't work.
Well, and also, like, Paula wanted to get Rebecca invited to that Thanksgiving, and she did it. I don't know what she did, but she did it.
And we probably should never find out, but that was massive. Rumpelstiltskin.
Yep. Do you have anything else?
I think this might be the first time that our winner and loser has crisscrossed.
I mean, I think that, like, I'm surprised that you made a very Chelsea argument about Greg winning.
Same. I'm also surprised that I made a Chelsea argument. I'm surprised you didn't make the Chelsea argument. Because usually you're like, but they did the right thing.
Yeah. I think it's because I, like, didn't want that to be the right thing.
Yeah. I mean, I actually expected the dad to refuse it.
I mean, I think you would have if Greg had asked. Because he later told him that...
Like, leave. Like, go do something.
Yeah.
I mean, I also thought we were going to get a really tragic, like, the dad dies so that he can't.
Oh, God.
Yeah, like, he was going to make the right choice, but dad died, so now he's going to go to business school to honor his wishes or, you know, something like that.
It's, like, really hard to hold things in about what I know about what happens later.
I know.
Because, like, usually I can hold it in on the podcast, but then I can talk to you about it, but now I can't talk to you about it.
Because you know everything and I don't.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's different.
So next time we are going to watch season 1, episode 7, I'm So Happy That Josh Is Happy, which is my favorite way to respond to someone when I think what they're doing is a bad idea.
Really?
I'm so happy you're so happy. You're like, have you ever said that to me?
Yeah, no, I'm sitting there like, have you been saying that to me and I've never been picking it up?
I probably haven't said that to you. I think if you told me something that I thought was dumb, I would just be like, that's dumb.
I would hope so. I prefer people just be honest.
Yeah.
What you looking forward to?
am looking forward to Paula and Rebecca like having an argument about what happened with Greg.
Yeah.
And I like don't know what Paula's gonna do. Because like if Paula can orchestrate that shit with Mrs. Chan, like what is she gonna... Is Paula now going to be like actively trying to keep Greg and Rebecca away from each other while trying to force Josh and Rebecca together?
And why?
Yeah.
Because like she objectively believes Greg is very attractive. We've heard that.
Yep. She does think Greg is very attractive.
She acknowledges that Rebecca is obsessed with Josh. She wants something to do. Couldn't she just pivot that energy? Yeah, but it wouldn't be as hard, though, because Greg's single. I think that's the thing, is that would be over too quickly.
Yeah.
She just wants something entertainment to do.
You were excited about a guest star.
Oh, yeah. Cedric Yarborough is on the next episode. I believe he was on Mad TV. He's a voice of one of my favorite shows on the Boondocks. He's just funny. Like he's got like very expressive facial mannerisms. Funny character, so he will be hilarious. Also, we're gonna get a black person on the show.
Yeah, we are gonna get a black person on the show.
I'd like it to happen maybe before episode 7, but that's neither here nor there.
We did meet Jim.
Yep, you're right.
He's not a major character, but...
And we met him once for like 2 minutes.
Twice. The first time when they're making fun of Paula, and then the second time when Tim and Paula are making fun of Jim.
I think he has as much screen time as Nipsey Hussle has.
Yeah.
We
were talking about how this show is very diverse, but there are not very many black people.
It's extremely diverse despite not really having any black people while in California.
Yeah, I wonder...
Nor that many Hispanic people either.
Well, Josh's whole family is Hispanic.
Yep.
Plus, all the relatives from Temecula. Well, please be sure to join us next time when we watch Season 1, Episode 7. I'm so happy that Josh is happy.
And I will see you next time.